Alright, we want to create a rod just like this in Autodesk Inventor. This is the rod that I'd like to see, and I'm going to make it a certain size and use two different techniques to create the ends, the pins on the end of this rod. Okay, so let's begin by starting a new part. And we'll begin with a 2D sketch, and we'll start on that sketch on the XY plane. Okay, so first thing is to create a circle. There's lots of ways of doing this, but I'm going to create a circle. Center point circle, hover over the middle, drag out, and I want this to be 20 centimeters, 20 millimeters, I beg your pardon. So 20. Now I do notice that that was set in inches, so it's a big beast, and we want to make that smaller. So to be able to do that, we might need to go to Tools, Document Settings, Units, change here from inches to millimeters, from mass to kilograms. Degrees is fine, everything else is good. So we'll apply that, hit close. Now it's converted 20 inches into 508 millimeters. So let's alter this dimension. Now here's our first sketch in the browser. So if we hover over that, right click and find ourselves an edit button, we should be in business. Double click on that will do us. Instead of 20 inches, we'll make it 20 millimeters. It's pretty tiny, but let's zoom it up into the right size. Okay, 20 millimeters, that's all good. So the sketch is going to be fine. I'm going to now want to extrude it, and extrude that, we want it to be 200 millimeters long. So just type in the 200 millimeters in that little box, and we'll get 200 millimeters long. We can zoom it to bring it back into focus, and that's good. So that part's ready. Now let's do another sketch. We'll start another 2D sketch, this time on the edge, on the face. We want to create that little pin that pokes out, and to do that, another circle. We'll do this one using an extrusion, and we'll make that 10 millimeters, because I want this to actually fit inside a cube that we've made earlier on. So I hit 10, enter. That's fine. I'm happy with that sketch, and now I'm going to extrude this part. This little Autodesk is going to require me to say, where do I want to extrude? So what surface? I'll hover over that internal surface that I've just created and let it extrude by 20 millimeters. That's all. Now that's all good. So there's 20 millimeters, but I want to do the same thing on the other side. So let's have a look. Might go on this side here now, and I might go back the other way a little bit, just because I have a plan here. Now I want to use a Revolve function to show you a little bit about it, but I need to create a work plane that splits this whole item in two. So I'm going to create a plane, and here's the work planes under work features here, and you can select, there's lots of different sorts there. Plane that goes through points and so forth, tangent to surfaces, and tangent to a surface through a point. Well, looking at them over here, I'm going to go, I'm going to do something here a little bit first. I'll move this into a slightly more 3D kind of view. Then I want to go over here on my model tree, or sometimes called the browser, and look at Origin, open that up, and by highlighting this I can look at the various different planes that have already been set up inside this model. Now because of the way I designed it, coming from the center, those planes are going to go right through the middle of my rod. So let's just say I choose the XZ plane and I right click on it and I left click on visibility to make sure that plane stays visible for me, and that can act as a work plane now. I can draw on that plane, so that's what I really want to do. So let's have a look. So on this plane here now I'm going to do a sketch. So I'm going to start a 2D sketch and then go onto the plane, highlight the plane, and it's now coming into focus. So I'm going to make it a little bit larger and choose to do a rectangle. This time I'm going to use a 2-point rectangle from each vertex, draw it out and change these lengths. Now I want the radius to be 5 because I'm going to rotate that around to create a 10mm pin, and this dimension over here I wanted to poke out 20mm. If you recall, that was what we planned. So there's my cross section, which I'm now going to revolve about an axis. So to do that, it's pretty simple. Go to the, well, accept the sketch, so it's a correct sketch. Then go to Revolve function up here, and when you click that, you'll notice that one of the things that you're asked for is select an axis. You can see it down the bottom left hand side of the screen, and the top here you can see the arrow for axis. Now it's set at the moment to create a solid shape, and the revolve is going to be a full revolve, full 360 degrees. We could choose to do an angle or to a certain point. There's lots of different options here. So let's go to full 360 degrees, and I want to select an axis. Now I'm just middle mouse button scroll to get that larger. Highlight this bottom line, and I want this to be my axis, so I'm going to left click on that. And then straight away you can see the revolve has taken place, and I know it's pretty good. I'm going to select OK, and there's the second part of what I've done to create this rod. So I'll click on the spin center here so you can see I've created the revolve, and we've done pins in 2 different sort of formats. I'll drag that a little bit closer there, and the rod is now ready for us to use as a part. So when you finish with it, you can do File and Save As, and then choose where you want to save it and call it whatever you like. I'm going to call this one Rod 2 because I've done Rod 1. Where are we? Rod 2, and save it on my desktop at this point in time. That'll be fine for me, but you can save it in a folder or a file where it's convenient. Save it in the same area as you would have that 50mm cube that you've created, because you're going to create an assembly soon of these parts. You can color it if you like, and make some other adjustments to it. Okay, thank you.